In good hands?
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Fam, what's up? What's up? What's up? It is the 3rd of August, 2022. What up, Rob? And welcome to Random Thoughts with DVP. I'm your host, DVP. This is what we do on Wednesdays, weather, time, and all things permitting. So today we're going to talk about confession, celebrity, and cruises. Just stay with me on this. But before I get into all of that, I'm going to just dabble on a couple of things. We see what's going on with, you know what, I'm going to hold that for the conversation because that's part of it. Okay. Y'all see that they done found the Emmett Till's accuser. What should happen to her? What do y'all really think? What do you really feel? Should she be incarcerated? Should she be put on trial for what happened? I ain't did a whole study into it, but I'm of the mind that according to the law, the statutes of limitations for murder never expires. I don't see why she shouldn't be held accountable for what happened. All the true perpetrators of the crime have probably long since departed. But whose fault is that? I am not a defender of Bill Cosby, but I do not understand how he was tried after all these years based on my limited knowledge of the law. But if he can be tried, she can be tried. And I don't even see where it's even a question. The law is the law. She need to have her day in court. The only way I'm willing to give any type of concession is if his family just wants to put it to rest and they just want to be done with it. If that's what they say, I'm all in agreement with doing whatever the family wants, even though I personally think she should go to jail. I mean, she on oxygen, she a million years old, but whose fault is that? Whose problem is that? It's none of ours. Robert, you gonna be with me today? You want to come on the show? Or you still running from it since you always swear I'll never have you on here? So yeah, I'm torn between that, but I don't think she should escape justice. And simply because we know What up, Ernest Moore? Long time no see. Oh, that's right, football season coming up. Get your popcorn ready, bro. Get your popcorn ready. Justice should still be served. If it's not, then you have an ongoing problem, which is part of what's wrong with today's society. That's what's up. Take your boo out. I'm gonna give you some tips later on the way you should take them. Me and Trina just came back. Our anniversary is Friday, but we went out last Friday. We went out this weekend because we're gonna just be busy this weekend. So I'm gonna just say this, ladies, gentlemen. If you ain't never just been out to the beach, and I know Roy has because we're from Miami, but beach heat with a breeze ain't nothing like city heat. We spent two days on the beach, just chilling and relaxing and enjoying life. We didn't even get a chance to take in some good restaurants. Okay, OMW3 is coming too. All right, Ernest, put up a flyer so we can talk about that. All right. But you know, here's a subject I want to talk about right quick before we get into the main course of things. And we're gonna get into the main course of things. But how many times do we see the meme about, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? And everybody got their comments about, you know, women who do this and women who that, and you know, I'm not a fan of this whole battle of the sexes. But let's ask the question: can you turn a hoe chaser into a good husband? Or is it just something that we like to hold women accountable for? Ernest, I once had a management team who told me I don't do auditions. So, you know, I'm gonna let that ride. I don't do auditions. And plus, I'm a retired model. I'm a host now. My current management, AKA Roy, and my management team say I'm not allowed to do anything but hosting and sports shows. No, I'm not allowed to do any more walking the runways unless I got a mic in my hand. That came from my management team, so I got to acquiesce and get them what they want. But do we hold boys to the same standard? Us says we all have one-sided perspective about everything, but do we also? Most time we can see both ways. We just got our belief system, but there are times we can see both sides, especially if we're not intimately involved in it. Because, you know, let's just stick with the basic scenario. Can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Well, can you turn a hoe chaser into a husband? If we keep sitting behind the philosophy that nobody will ever change and yada yada this and yada yada that, why is it we get caught up in that? They should make a wise Dr. King speech. Nah, Robert, that's too easy. Just making a wise speeches. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Right, but is your opinion one-sided though, Austin? Or do you try to take in both the facts? Like I said, especially if you're an outsider. One of the things, like doing this show, and people send me topics, and you know, me and Trina was talking about me doing hot topics. Well, some of them I don't have an opinion on yet, because I don't want to say I'm sorry. I don't want to say I was wrong. And you know, my background is in military and legal and law enforcement stuff. So when I hear things going on, I don't want to make a quick thing and then have to backtrack and just be seen as an emotionally responding guy who never has facts with his opinions. Because your opinion should be based on something other than just how you feel. Because as I tell you about it, nobody cares how you feel. Jess, what's good? Jess, we talking about one of your posts that you shared about turning even though it wasn't exactly this. It's about, we love to ask, can you turn a hoe into a housewife, but we never ask, can you turn a hoe chaser into a husband? And I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between the two, other than men love to hold women to standards that they don't want for themselves. And, you know, the whole double standard thing is kind of just crazy to me, how we go about that whole thing. And, you know, we'll talk about a woman, if she was only raised by her mother, how she damaged goods, yada, yada, yada. And I'm gonna do a poll on this. I want y'all to join me on this too. I want to know how many women know good men who came from a single parent household, and vice versa. how many men know good women who came from a single person household? Because we seem to keep acting like that's the devil's den, that having two parents is automatically going to make everybody greater. And I'm just, my personal life, I'm not seeing it, but I'm going to do a poll. I want you guys to do a poll, tag me. I just want to see if people in their real world can say that single people who came from single parent households are worse. Why is it we keep perpetuating myths? And see, this is one of those things that, Austin, we can have an opinion about it, but what is the opinion based on? Is it based on facts? Is it just based on the fact that we want to dominate somebody and we'll push knowingly false facts just cause? Just cause. When I was watching the news today and I was watching a little of the Sandy Hook trial, where it's on, I think his name is Alex Jones, where he said the whole thing was a fake, where he's saying it was all plotted and staged and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, you know, there are several conspiracy theorists who believe that none of these school shootings are real based on, I don't know what they're basing on, but they love to say it. When are we going to stop doing that? And in this age of information, it ain't like a lot of things are hard to check. And most of them are easy. You can check them within 3 to 5 minutes before you post it, share it, repeat it, or regurgitate BS just for the sake of trying to be right when you know you're wrong. And it's like, where'd you get that information from? And, you know, people love to say, oh, go look it up yourself. No, well, show me where you got yours from. Show me where you got yours from. And then let me look and see if it came from a reputable site. That's the interesting dilemma that we face when it comes to what we believe versus what we know to be true, but refuse to accept it as true. Case in point, a few years ago, a lot of people didn't like 45 as president. Didn't change the fact that he was. People say, oh, he ain't my president. Well, if you're an American citizen, he your president, whether you like him or not. Just like 12 years ago when Obama was president, it didn't matter who didn't like him. It didn't matter what they said. He was still the president of the United States. And people, oh, he ain't my president. He ain't this, he ain't that. And it's insanity. But we'll repeat these things like we have some personal gain in them, and we don't. But we'll repeat misinformation, and very rarely will we unrepeat it or say my bad, which is why sometimes I don't give a point on things because I don't know enough information. I could give a quick take. I don't like giving quick takes on things that I'm supposed to know about, and I try not to speak emotionally unless I still have some facts behind it. Then I can let my emotions support the facts, whether I agree with them or not. So when I'm looking at it, it just says, hell no, her baby daddy came from a 2-parent household and he ain't shit because his parents ain't shit. And you know, I'm gonna do a show in the future about that because I worked in a prison, I worked in a jail, I'm sorry. And yes, there are a lot of guys who came from single parent homes. Lots of, tons of. But when I got to the maximum security floors where the true criminals are, the murderers, the rapists, and all them, a lot of them came from 2-parent homes. There's just fewer of them, but they are committing the more heinous crimes. That was just in my professional opinion. Because I don't have a dog in the fight. Except for I hate for people to try to disregard single moms because I'm a product of a single mom. And I'm a little offended when people try to say what we won't be, you know, oh, if he ain't got no, if his dad in his life, he ain't gonna be this. If this, you know, and we come up with all these crazy things that have to happen as opposed to saying, and me and Ernest had a discussion about this, because it's more important to have good male role models, good female role models than it is to have a blanket mother or father. If you got good role models, great things happen. But just because you got a mom and dad, don't mean that. They could be narcissistic, they could be whatever it is, but a good parent tops all of that. So, you know, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in the future. So, as we get to confessions, celebrities and cruises. We take confessions with a grain of salt. People will confess to things. Am I making judgments general or personally about what, Ernest? Or are you talking to Jessica? And I try not to make judgments about people in general. I make judgments about people who I want around me. But people are who they are. I don't have to like them. I don't have to dislike them. If we're doing business, it doesn't matter. And if I don't know them, it generally doesn't matter. I can speak factually about what they present, but I don't know what they mean. I know what they say. And when we do these, you know, in my world, being able to use the single dad thing, I mean, the single parent thing was an excuse they gave us to misbehave. Oh, no doubt, good can come from good people, but to summarily dismiss one without the same merit is tantamount to ignoring reality. See, if people condemn single parenting just on its face, and you can't give it no support, you can say, oh, this is this, this is this, this is that. Well, let's flip the script then. You can give me a list of bad things that happen from kids who came from single parent homes. I can give you a list of good things that came from kids with single parent homes. You can give me a list of good things that came from dual parent homes. I can give you a list of bad things. So what is the metric saying? The metric say you can't summarily dismiss one because you don't like one. Is that what we prefer? Most people would prefer to be in a dual parent household. But Jessica's here. Jessica, you should come on the show. Jessica has already told you about one of her kids' fathers that he wasn't shit. So, knowing that he ain't shit, should she stay in a bad relationship with him just so her kids can come up in a two-parent household? Because then what are we teaching them? This ain't yesteryear. What are we teaching them by having them in a two-parent household that's dysfunctional? They start understanding that dysfunction is the norm, and all of a sudden things start happening. And that's not the way it's supposed to go. So yeah, we can't just summarily put one above the other. Obama came from a single parent home, top 5 president. What does that say? A lot of great people have come from single parent homes. A lot of great people have come from having both parents there. You just can't automatically dismiss one. Right, every situation is different, and that's what makes everybody opinion irrelevant in certain situations, right? Because they use too many opinions and not enough factual data. And once you got facts on your side, you can use them. You just have to understand, you know, people love to say people lie, yada, yada, numbers don't lie. And I always say that numbers do lie. Numbers will support whatever you want them to support. It's like when I gave the jail scenario earlier. There are more, I would say there are more kids who came from single parent homes that are in jail for misdemeanors. There are more misdemeanors committed on a regular basis. So in a jail of, let's say, 1,000 people, I got 700 misdemeanors. Out of that 700, 400 of them came from single parent homes. In the same jail, I got 300 felons who have committed murder, rape, robbery, and all this. So already the numbers say single parents, but we're talking how many of these, out of this 700, 50% came from single parent homes. Out of this 350, 30%. So how do we break the numbers? Because I can make the numbers say whatever I want to say. But at what points do parents take responsibility for our actions, or better yet, break the cycle? Breaking the cycle. You're gonna make me change my topic. Breaking the cycle is a personal thing. You have to see better to do better. If you don't know that better exists, because we love to say that we all grown and we the master of our fate, yada, 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 yada. But parents have to take responsibility. But It's just like the bulls in Africa, not the bulls, the elephants in Africa. And people talk about why the elephants are out of control. Because as hunters start killing the older elephants, the male elephants, the young male elephants didn't have anything to emulate or keep them in check. So now we'll go there, they go unchecked, they run them up. Everything gets topsy-turvy, but it's because of humans killing the leaders. I don't have the numbers now, but see, this is where I can speak from my personal experience, not my belief, just personal experience. So when we start trying to get parents to take responsibility, the biggest issue, the biggest reason why most parents can't truly take responsibility is because there's no parenting classes. Most parents are learning on the fly. Jessica got 3 kids. I would say, and I haven't met any of them, but I would say all 3 are different. And if I say, Jessica, what training did you have to become a parent? Jessica, what training did you have to become a parent? Ernest, I know you got a daughter. I think you got 2. What training did you have to become a parent? Austin, you got kids? Roy, I know got 2. Roy, what kind of training did you have to become a parent? Robert, everybody who got kids, what kind of training did you get to become a parent? So a lot of us were doing things on the fly. Our parents were doing things on the fly. When I talk about before, we can't blame our parents for what they didn't teach us. They were taught what they were taught, and they didn't have the same access to information that we have nowadays. So how do you train a parent to be a parent? Because yes, we are all learning. We're all learning. There is no magic class. There is no magic stick. So to take responsibility, they have to know, what are they being responsible for? Train you on something they didn't know. Even today, most of us still won't talk to our kids about finances and how money works. Why is that? In today's society, where it's so much on YouTube, it's so much out there, we can do these things. So as the 21st century, there's a lot of information out there on how to deal with kids, how to spot things, how to know things, as opposed to medicating them at the first sign of any delusions. So to hold a parent responsible, what are we holding them responsible for? Knowing something that nobody told them, knowing something that they couldn't learn in school, knowing something that, where are they supposed to get it from? Right, Austin. It ain't his mom's fault that she was a good, hardworking woman that tried. She did the best she could based on what she knew. My mom did the best she could based on what she knew. She had no bearing on me deciding to go into a life of crime at one point. That was my choice. She did a great job, all things considered. Most parents did a great job, all things considered. I met a murderer, and I met his family. His family were lovely people. Money, everything. Gave me the story about how he grew up a spoiled rich kid. He grew up with the proverbial silver spoon in his mouth, and actually it was platinum. But he was a kidnapper, a rapist, and a killer. What did they do wrong? They showed him the finer things in life. They spoiled him. They did everything they were supposed to. She said he even got whoopings when he was wrong. So what did they do wrong? Austin says, I guarantee if she would have been raised and taught better, I would have probably not had the mindset I have today. Right. And this is what we have to understand and not be so headstrong that we ignore the village. Because our parents were doing the best they could. The village was doing the best they could, good and bad, so that we saw both sides. A lot of us inherently have to thank our villages, and we don't know that. But a lot of these new people, as much as we talk about the village, as much as they talk about it, they don't want this village because they quick to say, this is my child, I don't need your help. But then they want to raise a child in the village. Well, the village took care of a lot of us. We learned a lot from other people. We learned a lot from watching other families. We learned a lot of things. Our parents couldn't learn all that. They were at work trying to keep a roof over our head. They were doing whatever they had to do. Mom was working 2-3 jobs. For those of us who grew up in 2-parent households, and I listened to some of the guys tell me stories, Pop was out working, anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week. So what was he instilling? What was he instilling? I mean, yeah, he might have been instilling the hard work team, but what was he contributing truly to parenting or our life skills? And this is why it's hard to hold parents accountable unless they doing the best they can. You got to give your kids exposure to other things other than just you, whether it's the WOW, whether it's 100 Men Walking, or Ernest. It ain't that ain't the name of Ernest's group. Future Gents. We have to give them exposure to certain things. We finna enroll my daughter in ballet next month, just so she can try it, have access to these things. But does putting in ballet make us good parents? Absolutely not. What would make us great parents? You really can't become a great parent till you see your kids grow up. So you got to put them, 15 to 25 years in, and hope that you are a reasonable reputation of what they wanted you to be. Austin, have you ever felt like you failed your mother, or that you were failing your mother? Roy, Rob, Ernest, there are times I felt like I was a failure. And I know if I felt like a failure, if I was failing my mom, I'm like, that was kind of what made me step up. I don't want her to think that my failures are a reflection of her. But when you do like the Chinese, and everything is about family, and this is one of those things that we're missing. Everything that a lot of the Asian people do is dealing with their family. You look at some of the killings that they commit, it's because somebody brought shame to the family. That's a little extreme, but they value their reputation so much. We don't care about our reputation and image. We seem to care even less about our reputation and image. And sometimes we push that on our kids. We tell our kids, don't let nobody talk to you in a way. Also, I'm not sure how old you are, but I was always taught to respect my elders. Not certain elders, all elders, all of them. This new generation doesn't do that. And Ernest, important thing, and I'm glad you pointed it out there. There lies a difference. We never wanted to disappoint our mothers. Even kids who came from two-parent households, I never hear them say, I didn't want to disappoint my dad. Generally, we don't want to disappoint mother. And the general phrase that I've heard more often than not is, you don't want to disappoint your mother. You don't want your dad. You don't want to anger your dad, because he was a disciplinarian. Mom was a nurturer. That's how it is in a lot of places. So, but like I say, now we're at a point where do your kids go out each day trying not to embarrass you? Is that a quality that we instill in them? Don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass me. And right, Austin, I think a lot of us, we want to be better than our dads, because you weren't here for the show when we was doing it. But one of the guys who grew up without a father, he was saying, he was in and out, is kids, especially boys. I'm gonna say it don't matter, kids, period. We need presence over presence. I'm gonna type it for you so you understand what I'm saying. And that's a crucial thing that goes. It isn't given enough credibility. It isn't given enough validity. And that causes us to have problems, because why aren't we seeing more versus buying more? And I don't know if y'all can tell them I have a total type. You're right. That's it. There you go. There you go, Austin. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, that's a huge thing. And as I'm growing up, and I'm thinking, that would have been crucial for a lot of people. A lot of us need it. And we argue about financing, we argue about this, we argue about that, and it's because we just want to argue about stuff. Why? Yes, money matters. Truly, money matters. But if we think that money could ever take the place of an actual being, We are delusional. Ernest, as much as I would love to take credit for it, I can't. It came from Mo when we was doing one of the shows, and that's it's one of my marching. It's one of my things I love to talk about. Presence is so much more important for boys and for girls. It's so much more important for mothers and fathers. Understand, we are humans. We crave people. Even those of us that like, even though a lot of us like to be alone, we still go out around people because that's what we like. That's who we are. We like the whole human contact thing, even when we don't like people. And this is what we got to do. We got to understand this to make this system work, for parents to be more comfortable being responsible, accept the village, accept the help from the village. And guess what? Sometimes you're going to get bad help, but that happens in life. Nothing is always good. And that's how you get to start determining good from bad. That's what good parenting, in my mind, comes in. When your kids have questions and you can talk about why this may be good, why this may be bad, and you put them in scenarios and you let them explain it to you so you can see what they're thinking. Because there are too many cases of parents trying to force feed their kids into thinking a certain way, and they don't have their own identity. They don't know what they think because somebody's always telling them. See, Trina, my wife, could have talked to our daughter about sex trafficking, kids being trafficked. She could have had all these conversations, and it would have been a great thing. But as opposed to just doing that, Trina took her to a symposium where they talked about it, where you get to see all of these things. Because sometimes kids, we know this because we've been kids. Sometimes our parents' messages become dull. We think they're trying to scare us. We think they want us to do, they're just trying to. So some messages you need to let come from the outside, the village, and the kids take them in. And that good parent is there to answer questions and say, hey, this is why this. Now you understand why I do this or this. Because when we can't do something, all we hear is they telling us no. We don't really hear the reason behind the no because we're stuck where we are. And we got to get beyond that. If what I say is correct, child support is what, Ernest? That's the whole question. Austin, are you saying you want to come on here with me? But I'm gonna say, yeah, child support. Let me break this down. Child support should be mandatory. Now, how do we define child support? Is it financial or is it physical? To sit there and say I have to, I'm gonna use me and Trina because we just cool like that. Hey Roy, can you send Austin the link so he can join us? If me and Trina, let's just say we have a child, we 8 years old, we break up. All right, so bam, Trina needs a little help. I ain't making the same money I'm making. Child support. This is why we need to discuss it. Okay, Trina, this is what I can do. Since I'm retired and you have the ability to do this, how about if I keep Zuri so she don't have to do daycare or whatever? Child support doesn't always have to be financial, but it should provide some type of financial relief. If you get where I'm going with this, because we can't keep attaching a dollar amount to everything, and we can't keep wanting child support to be solely for the child, because that is totally ignorant. When you pay for your child to go to daycare, you're not paying for just your child. You're paying for the lights, you're paying for an instructor, you're paying for some of the field trips. So I don't know why we think child support is strictly for the child, for them to eat, for them to do this. It ain't for other things. It ain't for the betterment of the caretaker, which in the man's thing is the mother. We're so angry we're so angry at the process that we miss the process. We're so caught up with wanting to have sex, we miss the byproduct of sex. And when the byproduct hits us in the face and that receipt comes, now I want to be mad at Trina and blame the baby on Trina when, Ernest, men are supposed to be leaders. Men want to be kings. Men want to be submitted to. Men want all these things. But when their baby comes, now they want to be something else. Now they want to be biblical kings. They want to go out and sow their wild oats. They want to be fruitful and multiply. Because somewhere, and I ain't read this in the Bible, I'm gonna let one of you Bible toters tell me, where's in the Bible it says take care of your kids? Because clearly everybody missing this portion when they quote the Bible on sow your wild oats, be fruitful and multiply. Nobody ever quotes a passage where it says take care of your children. Nobody ever quotes that passage. Oh, we know all men ain't kings. I said they want to be because this is what they crave. And we know nothing applies to all. But these men want to be kings. They want to be rulers. They want submission. But what are they willing to give up to get it? What are they willing to give up? Are they willing to step up to the plate? Are they willing to submit to make the family unit better? Or do they just want the family unit to submit to them regardless? See, everybody who has sex is not parental material, but they volunteer to be parental material as soon as they engage in unprotected sex. They're saying in their heads, I think I would be a great dad. I think I'll be a great mom. This is subconscious what they say because the outcome is there. Then when they hit them square in the face, we know ain't but one group routinely standing up to this. How many women walk away from their kids? How many women leave their kids with the baby dad and go to the grocery store and never return and go live their best life? Stunting, buying bottles, buying red bottoms every other weekend while saying they're doing the best they can. See, this is one of those issues where, how do you become a good parent? You know, Trina talked about bitter baby daddies, but let's just, for the sake of argument, Austin, where you at? For the sake of argument, when this bitter baby daddy do his thing, what's the end result? You end up with a mother that's spiteful because she was lied to and that she got to do more. Austin, check your inbox. You should have an invite to come to the show. Come on in, sir.
He working on it now, D. You heard me?
But that's what we have to do.
D, can you hear me?
What term would you like to use, Ernest? What term would you like to use that's what they are? Would you like me to say baby's father, baby's mother? It's a powerful tool. How many of us call our mama mother? How many of us call our fathers father? So, Ernest, do you call your mother mother? Do you call your mother father? Oh, the child's father, the child's mother. Those are so, what's the word? Those are so, what's a good word? Those are so formal. Those are so formal. But we introduce, I ain't never said this is my mother, this is my mom. And I might have introduced her as this is my mother because it was formal. But when my mama called, I call her mom. So guess what? She's DVP's mom. So why is it we hate a simple word? What's going on, Austin?
What's up, boss man?
Cut your mic up. I can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
So
you can hear me now?
You like using the term king. How does mother or father, how does mommy or daddy have a negative connotation? I clearly need to hear this.
What do you
Because
mean?
most kids call their mother mom, mommy, or mama. Most kids call their dad who's present dad, daddy, or pop. I don't know too many people who have a good relationship that call their parents mother or father. That's an English thing. Hello, father. Hello, mother. Hello, father. Austin, you got your mic up here?
Yes, sir. You can hear me?
I am still not hearing you. Royce, okay.
No, there.
Okay, there you go.
That's your system.
Okay,
Everybody else.
I got it. All right, Austin, you got kids?
Yes, sir. I got 2 of them.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Austin, introduce yourself.
I'm Austin, Houston, Texas. I'm like, I'm not big on the introduction type side of things because it's just like I go about life in a different way than everybody else. That's usually like why I be getting into your conversations and stuff, because you be hitting topics and people don't like really pay attention to things like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So for someone to dedicate their time like you are to the show like that, that's like whether you got one viewer or 100 viewers, you just keep going. You feel me? And that's how my mind is. Like I have to. So introductions, I'm bad. I'm very antisocial.
I got you. I appreciate you. Okay, so you got 2 kids, right?
Yes, sir.
Boy or girl?
2 girls.
2 girls. And what do they call you?
They call me daddy.
Do you find that disrespectful?
No, because
would you like for them to call you father?
That's what our kids were taught to call us, is daddy and mother, mommy and dad. You know, yeah, father. I'll probably look at them like, "Would you go read or would you go watch?" You know what I'm saying?
Right, because those are formal terms for the most part. We just generally don't say that unless we upset with somebody or we don't like them. But mom and dad is what we all grew up with. Mom and dad. So I don't understand how that can be a negative connotation.
See, that's where I was going from your comments earlier. It's we're taught so many things on a day-to-day basis, and so many things are shown to our faces that it's like, how can you teach the ones you say you love the most these things, not knowing that you could be leading them to a path of destruction their whole time? And so what we don't understand is like the bamboo trees that are grown, things take time and consistency, and so we expect what we say for our kids to move right then and there, or our family members to move right then and there, but not to know that it depends how much watering we're giving this subject and how much time and patience we're giving and love to this subject for it to finally show its results. So when people be having their kids, going through stages in life that they don't understand, that's due to you not being consistent with watering that plant. That's due to, this plant being left alone while you got to live your own life, right? Like you were saying, the mom's always got to be at work. The kids never get to spend time with the mom. It's so many things that play a role for everything. And then people don't see that it's a chain effect, and it's gonna, my opinion right now can change 100,000 different people's minds just because they finally heard what Austin has to say. And it could be for the good or bad, depending on what I'm giving out. Like you said, I can't give out information that's not applicable. And I'll let you know if it's not applicable in that situation, because I can't tell you things I don't know.
Right. And as you said, this is one of those things where we got to be open to have the uncomfortable conversations we talk about all the time. But, I ain't going to sit here and tell them about what to call them. I just know from my experiences, mom and dad is what most people say. For me, like, one of my sons is autistic. He calls me father. I let him do it because that's just because he calls his mother. I mean, that's just how he speaks. But all the rest of my kids call me mom and dad.
He just has a different understanding about
right.
things. And that doesn't make him wrong.
And being, as Trina said, being a father is a legal thing. Being a dad is an honor. Being a dad is an honor. And not just the title, but when we get to the representation of how we train our kids, how we become responsible, what makes us a good parent versus bad parents, because all of us, how old are your girls again, Austin?
I got one that's 8 and one that's 9, but she's about to be 10. So
okay, so you got 8 and 10.
Yeah.
And guess what? We've all made mistakes. And in the next 10 to 8 years while they with Austin, he gonna make more mistakes. Does that make us bad parents? Does it make us human? We can't keep trying to sit back.
Kind of what makes us grow.
Right. Because we're gonna learn from them like they learn from us. So how do you get to be a good parent? You hope that when they get to their 20s or whatever, that they do things that make him see that he was a good guy and a good dad.
Yeah, it's gonna, when they get to a certain age, the things that they don't understand right now, that they're like, why is he always lecturing me about this? But when they get 10 years older, like me, there's so many things that my mom went through as a single parent woman that I had to watch as the kid. And watching those things later on in life, I understand everything that she said. It all makes sense now. And that's what I be trying to tell my kids, but they be looking at me like, man, you be lecturing the hell out of me. And
they look at you the way you look at your mom, because they're not gonna get it until they get older. And that's one of the things that just happens, because we don't get a lot until we get older. We don't get a lot until we have our first set of kids. Robert said he had to go on a hot date.
Understanding life, like waking up.
Right. It's
about that time.
A lot of what we're doing is for future preparation, because we can't teach them about tomorrow no more. Once they make a mistake, you try to talk to them about the mistake. And one of the things I think is, when they make a mistake, we should never tell them what they should have did. We should have asked them, why did you do this? And was there a better option? Because once they can start doing that autonomously without always having to sit back, then you understand why they do things. Because some things we do clearly out of ignorance, because we don't know no better. A lot of things we do because nobody ever asked us beforehand. They don't understand why you can't just get in the car with somebody. Because, I used to tell my mom, when you first go to school, they say, don't talk to strangers. And I was like, Mom, everybody in the class is a stranger. So if I don't say nothing to nobody, I'm going to get in trouble. And she's like, no, not like that. But I was taking things literally then. It's like, how do you not talk to strangers in school? I don't know. Every time you change, okay, I know 3 people. And so now it's gotta be contextualized. And we do the same thing. We tell kids stuff because we try. Most of us are trying to be good parents. Most of us had good to great parents for their generation. If our parents were put in this generation what we know now, well, like I said,
it wouldn't be the same. They would be behind.
We'd be upset with some of the things that they tell us, because now it's easy for us to check and see that they're wrong or they're just misinformed. But our parents only knew what they were taught. We're a whole different generation. We don't have to just stick with what somebody says. We got information sources that are right at our fingertips that we can find out just like that. One of my friends has a daughter. He braids her hair. He watched YouTube videos. That's part of what he wants to do. He don't want to keep leaving it to the mother. And we can do all these things. We can grow. We can get the community. Also, can I ask you a personal question? Are you married? Do you live with the child? Do you live with your children's mother?
Yeah, we've been together for 13 years.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Why you ain't married to Austin? Let me go and put a little pressure on
you. Man, I'm not married because that's a true commitment, and I'm just now in the stage where I'm becoming a man, where I'm just now learning that, like you said earlier, I can't be out here saying I'm doing my best, but I'm buying Louis Vuitton, red bottoms and, all this designer and stuff, and trying to show, like, it's really just selfish, you know what I'm saying? So okay, I'm not married because in my own selfish way, I feel, like, I got a good woman, she's good to me. Like, I learn her. Like, I've helped this woman grow like she's helped me grow. You see? So Like there's a bond there that's unimaginable. And I tell her all the time, because she's like, you know, my sisters are married and they got these rings and these houses, and you know, their men do everything for them. They work for them, and I'm like, I don't want that. Like, look at how many of those people are unhappy though, and how many of those people are going through things that I can't even say on this camera to you, because that someone's gonna see this one day. So I would rather be real like I'm being right now, because I don't feel like it'll ever penalize me. I'm being straight up. And if my wife was to ever get on this screen, she'd tell you the same thing I'm telling right now. I don't feel like that path is necessarily the path that everyone has to take to show their significant other that, hey, I love you. Because technically, a lot of people use marriage for the benefits. If you want to be honest, it's about getting that marriage certificate, getting them couple extra benefits on, you know, everybody trying to survive in this world.
And me and you gonna talk offline also, because I don't want to fuss at you on camera. You already give me a lot of your business, but I am gonna fuss at you. I'm just gonna let you know, because you said something and my wife jumped on it. So I'm gonna repeat her statement. So having kids is not a true commitment?
Yes, that's to me, that's a commitment for life.
Okay. But I'm gonna give you
my
number.
And I know what you're gonna say about that, but it's just like I'm very off topic with a lot of things, because I can't process it the same way that everybody else is wanting me to process it when I say it to y'all. So I give it to y'all in a way that's understandable for y'all, but I can't give you full details, because it's like, it's impossible. Then you wouldn't like me. Then as a person, your opinion on what Austin is like, oh, we can't take no belief from this guy because the way he's thinking about things are.
Oh, no, sir.
That's not history. You know, that's the problem with politics and religion and things like that. That's why people don't get on those topics, because if you get on those topics, I'm no longer gonna like you because you like Joe Biden. I'm no longer gonna like you because you believe in just Jesus Christ himself and Christianity only. You don't have no compassion for the next religion. You don't have no compassion for the next, you know, person that's thinking, and that shit.
But see, Austin, see, and that's what you be wrong. See, a couple of my hosts have been Christians. I am not a religious person, but I believe in letting everybody be themselves. As long as you ain't hurting me, who you are ain't that important to me. As long as you're not hurting me or my people, be who you are, be the best you. That's why I said we're gonna have a talk.
But my perspective on that is it's not giving people their own way to think is the reason our world is the way our world is today. Now, everybody complains about it in a sense, but if you're my brother, right? Mm-hmm. And we're brothers, but I expect you to listen to me in certain ways, whether you're the older brother or the younger brother. You have so much knowledge due to you being the older brother, and I commend you on that. But as the younger brother that's looked at all these older brothers out here and their past and the way of living, and it's been passed down through generation, like you were saying, we have to pass down the right things, and that's raw material. If I could, and it sounds selfish, I would have my kids and my family living in the wilderness, living the raw way before we came to this, so they could see what real life would be if you didn't have it like today. That's spoiling people. That's why we know nothing about our earth. We don't know nothing about true herbs and true.
But you
make a different topic. But
yeah, because you're making too big of a generalization. Because one, I want you to don't worry about other people think. Have I ever met you before?
Never. I mean, we've talked on here text-wise, but I've never seen you.
And I still let you come on the show because that's not what I need. And I tell people, I don't need you to agree with me, because what I want us to understand is a tool belt mentality. The more tools you got on the belt, the easier it is to get a job done. I don't have to like, as I said, what you think, as long as you're not hurting me or my family, I'm gonna let you have whatever it is. People who believe in religion, I have no beef with them because it makes their life work. People who don't, again, as long as you ain't hurt me or mine, I don't care if you believe in dinosaurs and green unicorns.
Yeah.
Whatever makes your life go better for you, that's what you got to do. And that's what I want people to understand, because there is no right or wrong way, because we didn't come from the same circumstances. We don't have the same circumstances. We don't have the same finance. So we all got to find our own path, which is why
this is where people get into the disputes instead of understanding what you're saying. You see,
but this
so
is why
I'm understanding what you're saying, and I'm taking that in. I'm feeling that. You feel?
And this is why you have
a lot of people. This is where they're like, man, you know what? You can't talk to me like that, bro. And you know, I didn't say that I believed in unicorns and this, that, and that, but it's.
But then you eliminate those people
Exactly.
you know, with people who it's like with Facebook.
I wouldn't say
people argue about certain
them,
but you have
to. I wouldn't say eliminate them, because I can't. I don't know nobody that's autistic, right? I mean, my cousin, she's a little, you know, off the rocker, but I can't sit there and say that I have to let her go completely or discontinue my thought process to her just because of that. You know, sometimes people, you know, one thing I always understood about people who are like suicidal and stuff like that, or going through things like that, because I've had a few friends that have been through that, but those people at that specific time just wanted one person to talk to, and they just wanted to unload and dump all those things. That's the thing. Like, so we can't keep casting those people away. Why would you do that?
But if you don't expand your horizons, you never get to know those people.
No, but see, this is the thing. To understand, like, a king back in the day is not what a king is thought about today, right? And I understand that no man should think that he's a king, because for him to do that is selfish and put himself above everybody else. So that's the way that I think that a king shouldn't have. You shouldn't have been, you know, I got the mighty all power. You have to listen to me, this, that, and the other. Or you could live down there with the people who are pillaging for scraps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna sit up here in my castle with me. You're not gonna be protected by the walls like I'm protected. I'll put a wall out there for you, but that's all the protection you get. You know, those things, though, to me, that's wrong. That's where our that's why society today is like this. Hey, you over there doing you, and I'm doing me, and I'd rather just keep it that way. But if you notice, when people are battling things, usually that's how it is, and that's the way they perceive it. I got to battle this by myself.
And I'm gonna bring us back to the conversation, but I say, when you're talking about what's good for you and your family, your kids, that's all you gotta look at. Anybody who doesn't bring something positive to that, then you know you got to figure out how you want your village. You don't want it to be so isolated. If you got a lot of people who think like you, they're not gonna learn it, because you've got a bunch of people who are saying yeah. Let them have the option of hearing other things, and then you being a good father, letting their mother be a good mother and talk to them about it and understand how they got to this. And this is how you start the parenting process, as opposed to telling them that this is all you got to do, because those end up being the most rebellious kids, the one who have no freedom to. We don't want them to make mistakes. And that's a parenting thing. But we have to let them make mistakes, because that's how we got to this stage. So part of being a good parent is letting them make mistakes and being there for support, not to punish them, but to ask them again, why did you do this? What did you think was going to happen? And break down the list, so that now they can start making decisions and they can engage in critical thinking. It's the same thing for being a good parent. Parents have to learn to do this. And we have to look in the mirror and say, where did I miss the boat? Why was I afraid to have this uncomfortable conversation with my child? At some point, your girls are going to need to have a sex conversation with their mother. What's the appropriate age? 16 is way too late. But some people don't want to have this conversation. So do we let them engage this conversation with somebody else who may give them bad information? Or do we suck it up and just have uncomfortable conversations, you're gonna have to have a conversation with your girls about boys and how
I've
ruthless
already
they
had
are.
to do that though.
Right, and you're gonna have several more.
And that's that, and that's at the age that they are now. I've already had to do that because you can't control what school they go to and what those kids in school are learning at their houses and what they're passing down to kids.
Right,
just like a job. If you was to wait later and they was to get their first job, now you're around a bunch of coworkers who are living life doing the adult thing. Once you get a job, you're like usually 16, 17, 18, But I was going to say that's the part of growth. Like, in a sense, you're right. Like, you do have to leave people behind to get them to want to get up to your level to reach that in a sense. But
not my level. I need for them to get to their level. Remember, we don't all have to grow together. There are people who I hold in high esteem. Come to find out, there are people who hold me in high esteem. Where everybody is, you meet them where they are. I meet you where you are. Are you at my level? Who knows? Right now, all I know about you is you're 28, I'm 56. So I'm twice your age. So I probably got a few more experience than you. But who knows? You may have done a lot of things that I never did. And that's why you got to be open to communication and then decide who is not worthy of being a part of the village or the circle. And this is where we have to be more open-minded, and we have to do that with kids. Kids will gravitate to people that we generally don't like. And if we try to cut them off, all we do is build resentment. We need to find out what is attracting this kid, this person that we don't like. Are they good for them? Is it somebody I just don't like, or what? And sometimes we have to acquiesce and let this kid have this friend. And if they get in trouble, it's a lesson learned. It makes it easier for them to go through that versus us trying to do something. And like I said, as we're being parents, these are hard decisions to make because there is no book on this. Which child do you let them do something with? Which child don't you let them? Who's the girl that's most likely to sneak your daughter off to other boys' house? While you watching boys, but you miss this fast little girl because, again, I love to use my wife because we do this. She would talk to our daughters about their friends, about what they do. So when they come to her, they came with open questions because we never did like this, or don't say that. We never told them that. So whatever they said, we just met with open arms. And if they gravitated towards something, fine. We just need to know why. And we need for them to understand this, understand that, understand this. This is why this goes on. And that's part of being the great parent. And as if we're going to make confessions, because people love to say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Well, what are you basing it on? Because you really don't know a lot about your kids until they leave the house. Because right now they're under a semi-dictatorship. They're doing what they got to do to survive.
They're not going to be themselves, yeah.
And unless you open that door for them, and then they can be a little. My kids used to know. I would tell my kids when we all live together, it's two things I don't want. Don't ever lie to me. If you tell me the truth, you'll get in trouble. But if you lie to me, you won't get a whooping. So my kids just knew, as long as they don't lie, yeah, they got to go to bed early. They might have to do some chores. But if you tell a lie, it's a whole different animal. And they grew up just not lying. And, they were like, One of my daughters got suspended for something. And I, I'm sitting there listening to her story. And she said, Dad, I didn't do that. And then she told me exactly what she did. And what she did was not what they said. It was close. And I was like, she gonna tell the truth because she don't want to get a whooping. She knows she gonna get in trouble, but she gonna get in trouble for the right thing. And for me, it was pushing the honesty button out of more than anything else because I wanted them to feel like they could talk to me. She hit a little boy with a book. I was like, why you hit him with the book? He touched me on my butt. And I was like, why didn't you do something? She said, I told 2 teachers and they ignored me. I said, which 2 teachers you told? Went up to the school because they was going to suspend her for breaking the little boy's nose. Oh, we got a long conversation. Y'all got teachers letting them feel on her butt. And I told her, if somebody do something, you take the biggest book you got and you smack them in the face and just go to the office and sit, which is what she did. But, and these are things that I could have taught her to be a little less violent. But they ain't got no business touching your booty, and the teachers don't do nothing about it. But you should have told me about them teachers early. But like I said, this is just us trying to be better parents, trying to do things and make this so that when we do these bogus confessions about who we are and about what we're doing, I love your honesty about what you think about marriage. And I'm cool with that. Because there was a time I was just totally against it. as Trina said, me and Trina talked about it. Marriage is still a business. Hopefully, you can be in business with somebody that you truly care about. But if love is the only reason you're getting married, I'm gonna stick to it. That's one of the worst reasons ever. Because if you're doing it strictly for love, but one of the things you said is there's a point where we're all selfish, and if you're not willing to start making some adjustments, some submissions to another person, then it ain't for you, because all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. And that's one of the things that we subconsciously do, is set each other up for failure, because we put too high expectations that we've never spoken to each other on. We do the same thing with kids. If I don't tell you what I want, how do you know if you're meeting the standard? And we have to have some standards, and we negotiate with some of these standards.
That's the conversation and give and take part. The trying to understand the situation.
But that's why we gotta have uncomfortable conversations.
It's like what was that word I was using yesterday? Courtesy. It's just courtesy in anything that you do. My sister-in-law, she came over, and the milk, I guess it was like it was a little bit, but it kind of smelled funky. And she was like, and so we told her, throw it away. Well, the trash was full, and she just like throws it on top of the trash, and it's really hanging off or whatever. And I guess a little bit spilt out or something like that. And, my girl's like, it's common courtesy. Like, trash is full. You could put the milk on top, press it down, and, either say the trash is full or take it out to, care about the next person's situation. Is that would help. Or
I gotta say, that's where you have a conversation.
If I could tell my kids that with people, then they would want to do that with people too, and it would start something.
But and that's just where you have to have them. And like I said, and we're talking about the first part with confessions. I'm gonna go into something else. I'm gonna change topics. Do you want to stay on, or what do you want to do? I don't want you to. Make sure you inbox me your number.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got you.
All right.
What's the next topic? Or are you trying to go back to topic?
Oh no, I still got to get this to celebrities and cruises. I just know if you want to talk about we start talking about the children and the relationship stuff.
Celebrity and cruisers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that.
All right. So, and my last part about confessions is when and I started talking about the trial I was watching today about the school shootings, and I want to say the guy's name is Alex Jones. That's one who they're suing, who put up all things saying all these school shootings were fake. They were planned by the government, yada, 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 yada. And even with information, with factual information, with parents coming up there and people suing them for this bad information, he's sticking to it all. It's all false. They showing in court where he's saying he won't say it anymore, but they got him doing a podcast this morning saying that these people are going to be on the stand line trying to convince me of something that happened that didn't happen. And people can make a confession to something, and they can so believe something so much that they don't care what the facts say, and these confessions become totally bogus. But what we will do is we will regurgitate these bad facts and put that somebody said it without any context, because I'm sure people are going to say, oh, he said it. And then they proved that he was lying because he came to court at 12:30, because at 9:30 he was doing his podcast talking about the fake families at the hearing. And he's sitting there telling the judge what he ain't gonna do, but you just did it 2.5 hours ago. And I hear people all the time saying stuff and, oh, they confess to this. And normally we take confessions as, oh, if they confess, they must be telling the truth. Well, sometimes they're just trying to take the heat off another thing. And we can't keep taking confessions, especially ones that we have no proof of, and making them factual just because somebody said something. Because a confession is no different than any communication. I can say whatever I want to say. There's honest communication, because talking is communication. But is it honest? And we got to get more into honest communication, and we have to do more with explaining and understanding. Like I said, we don't have to get along. We don't even have to agree. But it's shit if we talk in two separate languages trying to have a conversation. And that's what we keep getting so lost at. And everybody wants to say that they understand. Why not just ask them what they mean? as opposed to assuming what they mean based on your perspective of your interactions, when you can just ask, hey, why, what do you mean you say this? Oh, I don't want to look stupid, so I ask questions, and that's what everybody say. Well, if you don't ask questions, don't you kind of make yourself stupid because you have that option? And I love when people give me their honest, I love when people give me their honest self, because it's them. I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree or disagree. It's who they are. Austin got to pay Austin rent. Yeah, Austin ain't got to do nothing. As long as Austin rent get paid, I have no bearing. Then when Austin asks me for rent money, then we got an issue, because now I do need to like him for him to give him money. But other than that, let people do what they do and live their life. Again, as long as you're not harming me or my people, I really don't care what you think or how you feel about things. Roy been my producer for 1,000 years. There are some things me and Roy will never ever agree on. It doesn't spoil the friendship. For me, it enhances it, because there are things he can tell me based on his perspective that I didn't know, or I might not even understand. There's things that me and Trina, hold on one second. There are things me and Trina don't agree on, but she's a woman looking at it from her perspective that I'm not getting. So when she explains it to me, I understand it, but I may not fully understand it, but I appreciate her increasing my knowledge base. What were you gonna say, Austin?
So I was basically gonna say, like, most people don't understand that arguments and people that you hate on first sight or have this mean grudge about, or just these upset feelings about all the time, those usually end up being your best friends. And people don't understand that due to, you're not gonna get along with everybody in this world, but there is a lot of things that everybody is up to par on, and it's common sense. And that's what I could be around you, you know what I'm saying, on this topic, talking subject on topics and stuff, because like it like you said, it's just straight up, it's raw, it's giving straight perspective. I don't have to bend who I am or move who I am in order for you to understand that that's Austin, like
right. And that's why you got to learn not to care what people think about you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So usually, like you said, you and dude, y'all don't agree on a lot of things, or on certain topics that you're not gonna agree on. But that doesn't make y'all not friends. That doesn't make y'all not understand one another and still communicate.
I respect the differences, and that's all people got to do. And when I get to the celebrities, I was reading a thing about Beyonce's song. I'm not even a Beyonce fan, and I'm looking at people who are taking sides, who don't know anything about the music industry, who don't know anything about the entertainment industry, and everybody's saying what somebody should be doing. Well, it's kind of like when I speak on law enforcement stuff. I was a cop. I know what the law says. Now, I can sit here and tell also say, well, that ain't right. It's still the law. Whether Austin likes it, whether DVP like it is the law. And that's where we have to go from there. And people like, well, that don't make sense. Not my problem, not my fight. It's there. This is what it says. You got caught for this. There ain't a whole lot you can say other than you don't like it. You don't like it. I'm looking at the defenses. You don't like it is not a defense. And we when a celebrity says something, I'm gonna say the lady's name wrong because Trina done told me how to sell it. What's going on, Fontella? You're complaining about something that you have no right to complain about. Austin can complain about the Random Thoughts with DVP show all he wants to. And this is not me being arrogant or cocky, but it's called the Random Thoughts with DVP show. So if Austin doesn't like what Random Thoughts DVP is talking about, Austin has there's a couple of buttons he can just not watch it or do something else. But it's like when people come on and say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Well, you got to pay.
It's not the Facebook. Random thoughts of Austin.
Right.
It's the random thoughts of DVP.
Because that wasn't my random thought. So I don't know why I would speak on it. And when people say things, oh, well, they should do this, they should do this. We love judging people who have no bearing on things. And I think we like to live vicariously through them. And they make us make bad decisions. Khalees, okay, thank you, Trina. I'm glad you get, because the spelling made me say the same thing. But Khalees is making a statement about Beyonce, and people saying how Beyonce treated Khalees wrong. She could have gave her some money. But if you understand the industry, the money goes to the writers and producers. Singers just sing, they get paid for singing. But when the royalty checks kick in, it's who wrote songs, who produced songs, and all this. Khalees wasn't that woman. It was Pharrell and Nappy Roots who got the actual credit for it. And if you don't understand it, then you just won't get it. You know, it's no different than sports. Who get credit for the wins in football? 2 people. Only 2 people. The quarterback and the head coach. Now, it's 45 people playing the game. Only 2 people get credit for wins and losses. So, oh, that don't make sense. Ain't got to make sense. That's just the way it is.
That reminds me of that that post with Cat Williams when he said that dude walked up to him and was like, "Who shot Suge?" And he was like, "Well, I'm sure Suge knows who shot Suge. Wouldn't anybody wake up know who shot him? And if, you know, that's the same person who shot Tupac, you know, and to me, that's like, that applies to that in a way. Like, you know, like we basically take in what we take in the way we take it in, and we don't, how do you say it? Like,
we don't like to do research. We like to repeat what we heard without doing anything else. And in this age of information, that's probably one of the worst things ever. Well, it cripples your kids because they start listening to you and you giving them bad information.
But it also cripples everybody after that you're feeding that to, and how you're feeding them that. Now they're going to carry out and tell a million other people, because that's the problem. Everybody talks about everybody else's situations. And there's a lot of people out there like that. They have no choice because they have no life. So now they have to use other people's lives for entertainment to keep themselves occupied, because, I mean, usually that'd be the nosy people. And I don't know. But I know for a fact that everybody, I like I told my girl, you know, like, you could go on every single Instagram post, like Say Cheese, for instance. Go to Say Cheese and go look on their Instagram posts. And if you look underneath that, every single person has a different frivolous opinion about what that topic is. And in my mind, it's frivolous, but in their mind, what they're saying on that is gonna, you know, like, it's gonna be knowledgeable and it's gonna make sense. And
well, everybody wants to be a world changer, but if you're not an agent of change, you know, social media has made bullies out of regular people who would never stand up because they can do it anonymously. And it's okay if you have come with a knowledge base. You have to have a knowledge base if you want people to follow you or listen to you. Like I said, one of the reasons I don't do a lot of topics is people send me topics, and some topics they send me I just don't care about. Some I don't know about, so I need time to research them. And it's like, well, I sent you this. It's like, yeah, but it was something I have no knowledge base on, and I don't want to just sit here and talk for an hour or two about something that you, because that's not what I want to do. And we have to do a better job of understanding that. If you want to know something, do a little research. I mean, I challenge people to do research, or like we had a little difficulty. I challenge people to do research all the time.
Can you hear me, D?
Because, yeah.
D, my bad. I was doing something over here in another window and hit this thing and knocked him out. So I guess, Austin, if you can I guess you have to listen to the show, because actually I can't get it back in.
I will be good. I make sure you send me your inbox me your number. But yeah, and you know, and like I said, that's one of the things. Like I said, there are times when I tell Roy I need him to be on the show because I want to talk about something that's more of his wheelhouse, and I want to be a true host, and I have guests on who can talk about things that I'm well versed in, but not overly knowledgeable. And this is where we have to stop just arbitrarily passing on information without doing a simple check, without, you know, unleashing vitriol for something we know nothing about. I saw somebody share a post talking where Ben Roethlisberger supposedly said something about this Deshaun Watson, because it's so easy to make a meme. And, you know, I'm not going to get into sports, but if you know the history of football and you know what Ben has been to, Ben is not the right person to say something about Deshaun. But if I'm a race baiter, now I got a white guy who's accused of this, this, and this, and I can set up my own narrative. And that's why sometimes I have to tell people we have to do a little bit more research before we just arbitrarily start fights for the wrongest of reasons, before we start slinging hate. And you got to take it back. I want to take it back. I want to say something, and when I say it, I want it to be taken as, one, I'm speaking from a place of knowledge and not just passion. I'm sorry, not just emotion. Because most of the things that I want to talk about, I do have a passion about them. Or like I said, I get guests who are passionate about them. You know, when I want to talk a little bit about politics, Roy knows I need for him to be on here. I'm learning more and more, but there are people who, when I talk politics, I really do want them on here. When I'm talking certain subjects, because they will keep me focused, where sometimes I cheated and didn't do my full research. I just did a little bit, but that's okay. Again, it's about having tools on the tool belt, and whether I'm Roy's tool or whether Roy's my tool, we're both getting something out of it. Roy make a post once a year, and he'll say, as I stole from my man DVP. See, but it's something that we gather from each other. He taught me some things. I steal some of his stuff, because this is what we do when you got a good circle. You want people who can give you stuff, so that when you start doing these things, when you follow a celebrity, when you want to confess, you're doing it from a place of knowledge and not just solely based off emotion. Because our emotions will make us make bad decisions. Most of us know that by now. Emotions make you make some of the worst decisions. Even though love is emotion, we all fall in love, yada, yada, yada. But when you don't have a full knowledge base, this is what we do. And, you know, I talked about cruises, and I don't mean the cruise on the ship, even though everybody should take 2 of those just because you should go to another country. That's just my personal opinion. Go to another country, see how they live. It will give you a different interpretation of America. Know how other people see us, know how other people live, know what they value. But the cruise I'm specifically speaking about is how we just cruise around life and we just go with the flow, and we don't ever want something. We don't have a passion for anything. And I think those people that don't have a passion are truly missing out on something. Even if you never really get your full value out of it, you need to have something that you're passionate about, so that you, what's the thing says, you know, they say YOLO, you only live once, which is false, because you live every day. You only die once. Every day, try to make something good happen. I mean, me and Roy talk a lot, not as much as we used to, but Roy's passion is my JBN. Roy's passion is this whole media thing. Roy, when I wasn't looking, Roy hit me. He stuck it in me. I was cool, never doing this. Roy taught me into it. I wasn't biting. He tapped me on the shoulder. I think he drugged me. And next thing you know, here I am. I'm not as passionate about it as Roy is, but I have a passion for it, which is why we do this show now. But without expanding my horizons, without expanding my village and letting Roy into my world, I would have still been somebody else who was just, you know, as Roy said, making funny statements on Facebook and just doing my thing. When we're doing this cruising, don't be scared to get off at some sites, smell the roses, check out the scenery, say hello to somebody. Like I say, Friday will be me and Trina's anniversary, but I chose to do something Sunday because we're going to be pretty busy the next 10, 15 days. We went to a beach. We had, not so much her because she didn't know where she was going, but we had preconceived notions of what we needed and what we should be taking and all of this. And we're going again. Because on the cruise, on the cruise to the beach, we found things that we like. And we know the next time we go to the beach, we truly can go with probably just a bag and a half for what we did. We like to eat. We only ate twice. The cruise, just the view around what we're doing became much more entrancing than what we thought. See, Bob says people don't read completely or pay attention to the news. A nation of gossip and social ignorance. Yeah, and I think a lot of times, Bobby, people just want to be upset or unhappy, and they want to pass it on to everybody else. And this is one of the things when I tell people about social media. You don't have to log off because people around you are saying stupid stuff. You can change the narrative. You can make a positive post. I mean, 2 or 3 days a week, if you come to the random thoughts page, I got little, random humor, because sometimes nobody wants to be serious. There are times when I do super serious shows. I don't do them all the time. They suck. They suck. But they're needed. But sometimes we just want to have fun. But somebody gonna want you to be serious. Somebody got on me. How you making jokes at a time with all that's going on in the world? Well, if I don't make a joke, guess what? It's still gonna be going on. If I die tomorrow, it's still gonna be some tragic shit going on. So why should I have to live every day as a hostage? So when we're talking about these cruises, take your time. Like I say, get out. Go check out some places. Me and Trina love to try mom and pop restaurants just cause. You don't have to do McDonald's or Burger King. Let this cruise educate you. Let this cruise educate you. Had Roy not stepped up and spoke to me, and we started having conversations, who knew where we would both be right now? Would our life be better, worse? Who cares? It is what it is, because we both stopped. We both stopped on that cruise ship, and we did something different. We reached out. We made a new friend. We made a new contact. We added a tool to the tool belt. Bobby Wilson, and a man I've never met, but he come on here. He always hit me. He always hit me with some good knowledge. I'm trying to get him on the show because sometimes Bobby be talking over my head, and I need him to explain some things to me. And I ain't afraid to admit it. But I appreciate when people who I don't know come and spend an hour or two with me, and we share thoughts, we share opinions, and everybody gets something out of it. All right, we're going to take a commercial break because I was supposed to talk about this. Austin asked, what do I think about that pastor that got robbed and then flexing his closet afterwards? So me and Trina talked about this. If you and your wife and your children are preaching with $1 million worth of jewelry on, you don't have no security, one, I don't believe you. But two, your whole flock, hey man, if it make them happy to support that, more power to them. I think the whole thing is disrespectful and a scam, but that's just me. That's just me. Because he was so upset about them pointing a gun at his 8-year-old daughter, 8-month-old daughter, whatever he said, that he on social media trying to defend some stuff. But I don't think we saw him flexing in his closet, but we just watched one thing and we were turned off, so we didn't watch anything else. But yeah, and Bobby, as Trina said, people are so quick to respond, so they don't do it to understand. One of the things one of my mentors said is we have to listen to understand, not listen to respond. But most people, as soon as you ask a question, before you even ask the question, they already responded because they're not listening to the question anymore. That's one of the things in relationships you have to stop doing. You have to stop listening just to respond. Just to respond. All right, include your Instagram on too, so I can check it out. Austin. But why do we feel so entranced to be in their life? What's in it for us? What's in it with Beyonce and the Khalees? What's in it for us to be involved in it? What's in it? So why do we feel so vested in it? Why do we think that we got to do this? One of my friends has a son that's an artist. I listen to a couple of his songs. I like a couple. Am I a fan of his? I can't say that. I respect what he does. He is a phenomenal at entertainment. He is phenomenal at getting his fans to buy into what he does. But I see so many people wanting to dog him. Oh, he this, he that. He's this, he's that. He's not. He's actually pretty good at what he do. He's just not from our generation. Take the cruise. Take the cruise. Sometimes you'll find things that you didn't know were enjoyable, quite enjoyable when you open your mind. You don't have to be so stuck in your own ways that nothing else is ever going to change what you do or how you feel. This is who you, this is what you want to do. Bob, you're not going to get me in trouble. You are not going to get me in trouble. Bob said, now that's a serious topic. It is hard as hell to listen to a woman. I am not even fenced to go there with you, Bob, especially if you ain't here to, I can't take these body blows for that. I ain't finna happen. But take the cruise, enjoy life, learn from some other people. Whether you stick with the information or not, just know they got the information out there and what other people are doing. We spent an hour talking to a couple from North Carolina just about other stuff, hearing about other things, just something different. We should have been sleeping, but we were enjoying the atmosphere. The cruise for us was everything. And we're going to do it again. But me and Trina will take a cruise around the city and we'll just ride, look at houses, go window shopping. We'll go riding, and the only stop we'll make is to get something to eat sometimes. Or we see a little quaint shop, we might get out and walk through. I'm not messing with now one of y'all. I'm not messing with you, Bob. You're trying to get me divorced. Sam says nothing, but the media make people believe they have to know. But do they say, well, why can't we change it? Why can't we change the channel? What TV station is actually holding us hostage? And it's crazy. You know, we talked about this. Trina, what was we watching when you told me about the people were videoing instead of calling 911? And I talked about it before. There was a car on fire when I was going to my mom's house, and people are just sitting there videoing. I'm sure they're going live. When I called 911 for the fire department, nobody had called them. It's 5 cars there before me. Everybody got their phones out videoing this car catch on fire. Nobody's called the police. Nobody. Because social media has you, we doing things for likes. We doing things for the thumbs up and for the hearts. That's insanity. That's insanity. We're family. People get jumped on. We ain't calling 911. We're just family going live. Why is that? Because now we're just cruising in absolute ignorance and arrogance. Oh, it don't affect me. It don't affect me. And then when it does, you want somebody to do something. You want somebody to do something. But you didn't want nobody to do nothing before. The pastor who got robbed. I don't know a bunch of robbers, but I do know some. So none of them robbed people in the white Mercedes Benzes. And, you know, it's crazy. That story didn't really take off. I guess it got its little 24, 40 hours long enough for him to file an insurance claim to say he had $1 million worth of jewelry. I'm still waiting for the receipts, but that's a whole different story. But it's something I just generally didn't want to talk about. You know, Trina says I should have a couple of segments on some hot topics, and I'm gonna try to incorporate those hot topics in as they come in, which is actually how the name of the show got to be Random Thoughts, because I would have something planned for the show, and on the way there or something would happen to make me change the whole thing. And the show was just about my hot topics, what I would see, what I experienced that got me in a different mindset. And, you know, as we joke, because I'm sure Bob was joking about, you know, listening to women, isn't it, yeah, I can do this in my closing. Isn't it crazy how so many men want to tell women how to be women, and so many women want to tell men how to be men, but they never correct each other. Women are never, I ain't gonna say never, I've never been a woman, but women generally aren't taught how to be wives or even girlfriends. Yeah, Bob, you may be serious, but I'm not messing with you. Men are taught how to work. But I got Bobby, I got Samuel, I got Austin still here, Roy. Gentlemen, did anybody teach you, tell you how to be a dad, husband, boyfriend? Did you get any, what's the word? Did you get any OJT on that? Did you get any help prior to these jobs? What kind of training did you get on being a father, or boyfriend, or a husband? Roy, Sam, Bobby, what you got for me? Roy, you still there? I know it's easy for you to talk than everybody else. We still got a little bars waving, but we still got a connection. What kind of training did you get? I know I saw another woman on here besides Trina. Who was it? Oh, Mindless Chaos, where you at? Who trained us on anything? And nobody trains us, but we want to tell everybody else what they should do. And when I look at people who keep saying all women do this or all men do this, or I keep running across this and this, again, you got to look at your circle. If you keep running into shitty people, again, what's the common denominator? If you keep running into shitty people, what are you opening your door and you say shitty people, come on in? That's on you. At some point, you have to step out and change your surroundings. It's no different than social media. If you want to be happy, you got to change some of your friends. You got to change what you post. I know a lot of people don't post, but I learned to stop. I just unfollow people who are always negative about something. I unfollow people who are always into this battle of the sexes. Well, who don't do this and who don't do that? Who's this and who's that? They got an opinion on everything that is so screwed up. They don't understand politics. They want to talk about politics. They want to talk about this. They want to talk about relationships. But how do we learn these things? Most of these things are on-the-job training. I guess we learned how to be a boyfriend, a girlfriend in high school as we was playing a little game. But who taught us anything about being good spouses, good parents? These are things that we learn on the fly. These are things that we have to start talking about a little bit more with our peers and those up under us and those above us. Get better grounded and know things. Let's see, Bobby went into the Army at 19, he was raised by grown men and women at 26. Raising children and being a husband is income and environmental based. Not according to child support, but I'm gonna let you have that one because I like you. And these little skills are what's hurting us now, in my opinion, because there is no training. There is no free flowing of information. I mean, and I take that back because there are a lot of little Facebook groups where you can get in with people who are like you or who are suffering from you, and you can learn things. I joined the Dad with Depression group because, as you guys know, I suffer from depression. Trina's here. Ask Trina, I've asked her before, but just for you guys as references, Trina, who taught you how to deal with a guy with depression? Yeah, the guy with depression don't know how to deal with himself. So these are things that there are no classes for. There are no, hey, where the depressed guys? Because I think I'm gonna meet a guy with depression, so I want to know how to deal with him. And these are things that we learn on our life journey, which is still the cruise. And we have to pick up these skills. We may never need them again. I look at me and Trina sometimes, and I look at the things that we have so in common, even though we're so different. We both had premature children. We both had kids who had medical complications. We both had kids who share the exact same birthday. years apart, but the same birthday. We were born around the same time. We both met under similar conditions going on in our life. There were a lot of commonalities about us that were spooky to a point. But then there were a lot of things that were totally different about us, spooky to a point. And because of both our life skills, it made it easier for us to accept each other, because we both came with the dreaded baggage. We both came with dreaded histories. We both came what we came with. But we both been on a cruise that made us less judgmental, less caring about the past. And we want to try this journey together. We want to cruise in the same vehicle. And this is one of those things when I'm looking at people tell everybody what they should do or what they shouldn't do. There go Roy. What's happening with your player?
Yeah, my bad. I had a phone call that came in. So
I know you.
What was the question you asked me?
Who before it all started, who taught you how to be a great husband? Did you go to formal training for that?
Yeah, that would be a negatory, Ghost Rider.
Who taught you about being a dad?
Actually, my dad, my grandfathers, my uncles. Those did. Now
Okay.
here's what it is. I don't know. I tried, and I consider myself to have done a good job being a husband. My ex-wife even said it. She was like, it wasn't issues with me because my father gave me some advice on the things that he had done wrong in a relationship with my mom, and so that's where I took what I was looking to do to a different level. And so, I think just as one example, the biggest thing was my mom was actually she was a very book smart person. She graduated summa cum laude from college. My dad literally had an 8th grade education. And he said the biggest mistake that he made in the relationship with my mom was being afraid that she was going to outgrow him because of how smart she was in his educational level. And as opposed to lifting her up and pushing her to be the best that she could be, he tried to hold her back at certain points. So, yeah, he said, "Don't do that." He was like, whatever you see in your wife that's something that she's good at, you push her to be the best at that she can be. So that's what I tried to do.
Tasha Muldrew, who taught you how to be a wife or a parent? Because that's what we was talking about. And Bobby says husbands and fathers are not born; they are made, and it's a challenging transformation process. And it's the same for both sexes. But it's too many times we keep trying to tell people what they should do, but it's a challenging transformation for women to be mothers and wives. But everybody, when we're doing this crazy battle of the sexes, and women are telling men what they should be doing, and men are telling women what they should be doing. I don't know if it was Roy or somebody else said it before though. We change, we make adjustments for people who we want to be with, not for just random people. And people don't seem to want to get that. That's what I say. I hate when people start talking about what somebody won't do. They just won't do it for you. So accept that. Why is it we love pushing ourselves on people who don't fit our profile? Roy got a crush on I forgot her name already. Give me a celebrity you got a crush on, Roy. What's it? Regina?
Oh, Regina Hall.
Regina Hall. Okay, but Regina Hall does this. None of Roy criteria, but Roy like, oh, she don't know what she misses. She don't. Well, you don't know nothing about her. But we try to push ourselves on people when me and Roy did a show, and I keep promising we're gonna do another. We're gonna do another on preferences and priorities. The more honest you are with yourself about your preferences and priorities and who you are, you can stop a lot of this misdiagnosing people who you just want to be with for one night versus who you want to be with for one lifetime. But we love to tell people what they're missing out on. Oh, she missed out on a good thing because she want this type of dude. So if Roy liked Regina King, right? I mean,
it's all of them. Regina King, okay. Regina Hall, no matter what.
Okay, if Roy liked Regina, but Regina only likes thugs, Why is Roy trying to push up on Regina and get mad because Regina won't like him? If Roy ain't willing to commit armed robbery, then he need to know he need to let Regina go. And I see this over and over.
That's why I stopped. That's why I had to stop having a crush on Vivica Fox. It wasn't gonna work. She needed thug Negroes. Can't be me.
Right, and that's one of the things that we hate understand about people, because we keep trying to convince them that they missing out on something. We not they tight. We not they tight. Roy loves black women. DVP loves black women. I ain't got nothing against no other woman. Please don't believe it. But I love black women. But not just any. I still got my preferences and priorities. And if a woman don't meet, if I know I don't meet her standards, guess what? I couldn't keep pushing that envelope. It was stupid and narcissistic on my point to just keep trying to sit there. We're going to go out and rob a bank just to get Regina attention. Now he in jail. He can't get out. Now what? Now he missed the car. He in jail. I robbed the bank for you. Well, that's just because you're stupid. Stupid ain't what I like. I like criminals. And we keep doing this, and everybody wants to tell somebody else what to do. You know, I got asked a question, and why don't you tell guys what to do to stop doing this? And I say, listen, me, Roy, Bobby, or Sam, we can tell guys stuff all day long on what we think it take to be a good to great man. But if Tasha or Trina is sleeping with them, they ignoring us because they're not losing out on nothing. If you want your man to be great, you got to be the motivator. When we want our women to be great, we have to be the motivator. Nobody else. Trina ain't changing for Roy. Roy can say to Trina, oh, they like cowboy jerseys. She ain't gonna buy me no cowboy jersey because Roy said it. Now, if I tell her I like cowboy jersey, she gonna give me a cowboy jersey. People change for the ones they care about. And if you ain't that person, stop telling them what they doing wrong. What's your question, Tasha? Oh, I'm sorry, you got with an S. What's your questions, Tasha? But we go through this because on this cruise that we doing on, we think because it's our car, we can just go in where we want to, anytime we want to. You got to come early because it's 7:45, so we're getting ready to check out. But you know, Tasha, you know the show from 6 to 8. I ain't heard from you or your daughter. But yeah, we getting ready to wrap up. So you can just type it. I'm just gonna read it. But next time, come early, or actually hit me up and we can have you as a guest. But we can't keep pushing the same fake narrative to try to browbeat somebody because we on this little cruise through life and we missing valuable things. We're not responsible for anyone else. I want to buy that one, Tasha, but I can't. We're responsible for a lot of things. When you invite somebody in your life and you say this is what you're going to be, you're kind of responsible for them. Am I responsible? Am I totally responsible for everything for Trina? No, but I'm responsible for making sure that she has a place to stay. Yes, I take on that responsibility. So I have problems agreeing with the statement that we're not responsible for anyone else. We are. There are commitments that you make. When you make that commitment, you are responsible. When you have kids, you are responsible for them. I'm gonna disagree. Everybody ain't grown, and everybody don't know the limitations. Everybody may have had birthdays that don't make you grown. That just makes you old. Most people don't know their limitations. Most people have never pushed themselves to know what their limitations are. It's a good thing we like to say because it makes us feel like we're empowered. But what do we truly know? What do we truly know? How many people know how long they can hold their breath? How many people know what's the maximum amount they can earn if they work overtime? Most of we don't know our limitations. We know what we like and what we don't like. Even in marriage, Tasha, what are our limitations? You can't have limitations unless you've had a conversation. If me and Trina agree that we should both be in the house at 9 o'clock, then 9 o'clock is our limitation to be at home, but we both have to agree on that. We both have to agree on that. So in that aspect, we are responsible for somebody else because we got to make sure that we're all in the same understanding, especially in marriage. We are responsible. I can't expect Trina to know what I want if I don't tell her. She can't expect me to know what she wants if she don't tell me. So am I responsible for? We both bear some of that. And what's the limit? What's a limit in marriage? Because everybody views marriage differently. We got people who got open marriage. We got people who got this type of marriage, that type of marriage. What's the difference for us to say that it's there? But that is a conversation between two people, right? So that means you're responsible for part of that conversation. Other than that, it's a monologue. And you still got the kids. Who's responsible for the kids? You are. But it is a soul thing, Tasha. People make their marriage what it. People do for their marriage what they think they need to do. Because for the most part, they want to stay in the other person's good graces. How do you stay in somebody's good graces? That's something that you have to do, so you're responsible for that. It's just my take. But we'll talk. Maybe we'll do a show on it when you ain't working, so you can come and defend your honor and explain yourself so that we get it. Because you may be missing, I may be missing part of something in the conversation. Well, that's why I say, we have to plan to do a show. And then you can sit here and explain your part and see where we have questions, where there's acquiescence, where there's submitting what we agree to. And this is, like I said, this is why I invite people to come to the show, because there's some things I don't understand simply through typing and texting. And I want you here to be able to defend yourself. We'll go from there. But you, Tasha Kodak, you know how to find me. All right. So yeah, in before the end of the year, we're gonna do another preface. We're gonna do prefaces and priorities for the 21st century, because lots of things have changed. Lots of things have changed. The way people are prioritizing things now. I'm watching people prioritize vaccines. It seems now that political affiliations are more important for some people now. We got to sit down and have this conversation, because as one of the things that Tasha said that I'm a wholly agree with on a large scale is that people know the limitations, and most people don't even know who they are. Most people, we go by to get by, and that's pretty much our life, because most people don't have a clue. Till I say what's up, most of them don't have a clue as to who they are until certain situations hit. You don't know until you hit that drama, that breaking point. How much can you stand? I'm sure that in motherhood and fatherhood and parenthood, we've all had breaking points with our kids where we thought we couldn't take no more. In work and life, we all had a breaking point, whether we lost somebody or something happened that we thought we couldn't take no more. And guess what we did? Because we didn't know we could do all of that. Stress, as they say, iron sharpens iron. Sometimes stress does the same thing. It lets you know who you truly are. And we gotta accept that and not give everybody, not keep thinking that everybody is adept or up to speed. Trina's my third marriage. What she brings to the table ain't nothing like my other two marriages. Is it sustainable? I hope it is. We working hard to make things work for us. But she's never been married before. This is my third marriage, so clearly I ain't been doing something right. So even for us, it's a learning process. She's learning how to be a wife. I'm learning how to be a good husband. These are things that we are learning on the fly. And sometimes we run into big brick walls, and we have to have an uncomfortable conversation and figure out why we're doing this and how to make it better. This is something I was unwilling to do in my previous relationship. Because as Roy said, I was willing to be married. I just wasn't willing to be a good husband. He didn't say that part. I say that part. So those are the things. I said, this is Trina's first. we kind of ain't on this. We not in the same place. This is her first marriage. She wants to make it work. She don't want to be remarried. I can't use that statement. I don't want to be remarried no more though. Yeah. So it is 7:53. I'm winding down. It's been a long day. Like I said, what up, little bro? By the time you done came in here, get my folks so we can get back up to speed so I can. Oh, you know what? Before I leave, I need for y'all to just ask your people to like the page, share the show. If you see a meme or post on the page, share it and get your friends to come over. It's free to support your boy. It's free. It's free. FREE, like the credit commercial, whatever thing they do. Ask them to come like it. That's all I need. The more people that like it, the more Facebook will give me they'll work with me and start paying me for it. See, support your boy. Yep. LeBron, we need to talk. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to call it a day. If you guys got something you want to talk about, you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to inbox me. Feel free to inbox one of my crew. I'm always down for conversation. Let me see what you want to talk about. If it's something that you strong with, because I'm gonna check your page out. Come on the show. Let me ask questions. We don't have to be in agreement. That's something that's really not that important, as long as you can articulate why you feel like you feel. Let me ask questions. Be there. Be able to give feedback. Understand that just because we ask questions or disagree with you don't mean we don't like you. It just means we don't understand, and we want better. We don't ask you questions to make us understand. We may not agree with you. There won't be no disrespect because we all come from somewhere different. Me and Bobby don't always agree. Me and Samuel don't always agree. There are lots of people who don't always agree with, but they add to the show because they make me think a little bit harder. They test my gangster. They make sure I'm giving out good information or not just blindly misleading you because I have a hidden agenda. So that's what we're gonna do. Like I said, shoot me up. Bobby Wilson, quit running for me, man. Come on to the show. Bro, you got anything you want to share with them about anything upcoming?
No, sir.
All right, so y'all know this is Random Thoughts with DVP. I do this on Wednesdays whenever possible. I said me and Trina got our 2nd-year anniversary coming up Friday, so I wanted to make sure I got this one in because last week Roy was busy, I was busy. Everybody was running around trying to plan, secret trips and stuff. So I ain't got no more secret trips planned for at least 24 hours. But as always, I appreciate y'all coming in, speaking to me, keeping me on point. Let me know I got your attention and we go from there. I appreciate Austin coming on the show and talking. We're gonna have a conversation. Tasha, reach out to me. Let me know what you want to do. And that's what's up. Y'all got any questions before we part? Anybody got any birthdays, anniversaries, or anything we need to give you a quick shout out for before I leave? Cool. So, it's almost the end. So let me do this the right way. I ain't got my glass. My wife said she's gonna take care of that. I'm gonna start a petition. So until next week, y'all know what it is, right? Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And we out.